What's up YouTube, it's Hani here from Bumblebee Technology, and I'm back with another video. So with the first half of 2015 in the books, it's time to see which smartphones are the best on the market. So in this video, I'll be giving you guys my top 5 smartphones of early 2015. So let's get started. Starting off at number 5, we have the HTC One M9, HTC's successor to last year's M8. Now there's a lot to like about the HTC One M9, starting off with the design, in which HTC decided to play it safe this year by keeping the design very similar to the M8, which isn't bad by all means. The device still looks beautiful with an all-aluminum construction, making this device look absolutely stunning. Along with that, this device has also some of the best specifications on the market, with a 580 1080p HD display, the all-new Snapdragon 810 CPU, 3GB of RAM, and it's all powered by a 2840 mAh battery. This device is very powerful, and it should last you the good 2 years. But that's not even the best thing about the One M9. The best thing that I find about the One M9 is the software, in which I believe HTC by far has the best OEM skin on top of Android. The HTC Sense is so smooth, it looks good, and it just works, which is something I cannot say about other skins. So, although this device sounds really great, it sounds good, there are a couple of reasons why it wasn't ranked higher on my list. So, first of all, the camera is just terrible. HTC has really been struggling lately with their camera technology, and this year is no exception. Although this device has a whopping 20 megapixel camera, the results just pale in comparison to other flagships on the market. But besides all that, the One M9 is still a solid choice for a smartphone even till this day. Moving on to number 4, we have the Moto X 2014. Now, although this is a device from last year, I still believe it to be a very good option for anyone looking for a smartphone. First of all, it's because of the design. Now, as a Moto X user, I can personally say this design is absolutely amazing. And Motorola really stepped it up by adding more premium materials such as a metal frame and also a plethora of customization for backing options, accent colors, and whatever. So you can basically customize your own phone from scratch. Also, the Moto X has some of the best specifications on the market at that time. Such as a 5.2-inch 1080p HD display, a quad-core Snapdragon 801 CPU, 2GB of RAM, and it's all powered by a 2300 mAh battery. But just like the One M9, my favorite feature is not the specifications or the design. My favorite feature is the software, in which Motorola has been sticking true with their roots and keeping the Moto X's software close to stock Android while adding some key features that the user would want to use, such as Moto Display and Moto Voice. And I can personally say I use these features daily because I'm a Moto X user, and these features work 99% of the time. And this is something you want from your device. You want features that you're going to want to use on a daily basis, and also you want them to work all the time. And this is something that Motorola accomplishes while also keeping the software very minimalistic for the user. Now, although the Moto X sounds great, I would have personally ranked it higher, but just like the One M9, the reason why it didn't rank as high as I would expect it to rank is because of the camera. And that is because the camera is just okay. Now, the camera by all means isn't bad. This camera can also take some really good photos, except the results aren't as good as some of the better competition on the market. So, ignoring all that, the Moto X 2014 is still a great option for someone looking to buy their first smartphone, and I still highly recommend it to many people to this day. Now, my number 3 choice was difficult, but I had to go with the LG G4, the successor from last year's G3. There's a lot to like about the G4, starting with the design, which looks very similar to the G3, might I add. With a plastic bag that is removable, along with LG signature rear keys, this device looks relatively similar to the G3, which was a good design in my opinion. But what really stands out to me about the design is the fact that you get a wow factor. Because this device has something so unique to it, which is the rear buttons, that not many devices have on the market. So when you're walking out on the street, you're going to turn a lot of heads because people are going to be intrigued by that. Which really interests me because obviously you want your device to stand out among others. And this is what the LG G4 brings you as well. Along with that, the LG G4 has honestly some of the best specifications on the market, with a 5.5-inch Quad HD display, which looks absolutely beautiful, a Snapdragon 808 CPU, 3GB of RAM, and a huge 3000 mAh battery. This phone is extremely powerful. It can last you a good 2 years. It's going to be solid. And so on. But that's not even the best part. The most intriguing feature of the LG G4 that I really enjoy personally is the camera. Now, LG is really stepping it up with their camera technology this year, in which they now bumped the resolution up to 16 megapixels for the camera and also increased the aperture to a f1.8 aperture lens. This allows for more light and better results. And honestly, I can say this phone has one of the best cameras on the market right now. So if you're in the market for a good smartphone camera, this is a great option to buy. Honestly, the results are just amazing. But like other devices on this list, this device has some drawbacks that's causing it to not rank higher. And the one for the G4, it only has one. And it is the fact that the software is too bloated. And what I mean by that is that LG took the Samsung approach, in which they decided to completely overhaul their software, bloat it, put everything in it except the kitchen sink. So there's a lot of features inside the LG G4, but the software is just so heavy that, as we know from Samsung from the past, that bloated software tends to not age well over time. And this might be an issue for many users, especially me, people who don't like their devices to slow down in the future. And this is a really big concern for the G4. But honestly, ignoring all that, you can solve this issue easily. But ignoring all that, if you want a device that's powerful and has a really good camera, the LG G4 is a very good option. Going to my number 2 choice, I had to pick the Google Nexus 6. Now, I know this is also another phone from last year, but as I mentioned for the Moto X 2014, I still really enjoy this device to this day. The first thing is that the design is very similar to the Moto X 2014, which, as I mentioned earlier in this video, that design is by far one of my favorites because I'm a personal user and I really do enjoy the design of this device. And since the Nexus 6 is also made by Motorola and based off of the Moto X 2014, you know, I enjoy this device as well because the similarities are good and the design carries over, which is great. Now, also the Nexus 6 has some of the best specifications out in the market. Now, even though this is a device from last year, it still has powerful specifications that let it match up to some of the competition that's coming out now, such as the Snapdragon 805 CPU, 3GB of RAM, a 3220 mAh battery. But the biggest part that makes it stand out from any single device on the market is the display, in which Google and Motorola decided to put in a 5.96-inch Quad HD display, which is absolutely huge. And this device is big, and I mean really big. But, you know, even though this is a very powerful device, my favorite feature about the Nexus 6 is the fact that it is a Nexus. And what I mean by that is that a Nexus device is a stock Android phone from Google. So what that means is that you'll be getting all the latest and greatest updates from Google when they come out. And this is great for people who want the latest software all the time. So people like me, you know, you don't like waiting for OEMs to give software updates. A Nexus device instantly gets the update as soon as Google ships it out. But that's not what I like a Nexus about. I like the Nexus because of the customization option and the modding option that you get with one. And what I mean by that is that a Nexus is basically compatible with any ROM, any kernel, any theme, whatever. So basically, if you want to customize your device in any way you want to, a Nexus is actually the easiest device to do it with. And that's something it's important to me because I like to customize my devices, and I feel that it adds a whole new level of experience to your device and gives you a new way to interact with your phone. And that's something that's important to me because I like to use my phone in different ways. Now, the Nexus 6 sounds great and all, but it still has a drawback because obviously it did not rank number 1. So the drawback of the Nexus 6, it actually has a couple. Number 1 is the fact that the device might be a little too big for many users. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this device has a huge 5.96-inch display, so almost 6 inches, meaning the device is very big. Now, a lot of people might not be comfortable with the size of this device, and I wasn't at first either, but you know, I'm interested in getting into a phablet, so this wouldn't be an issue for me, but for most people out there, it might be an issue. Another thing, just like the Moto X 2014, this phone has an okay camera. And same thing as the Moto X, the results can be good. You can get some really good shots with this device, except they aren't as good as some of the other competition on the market. But ignoring all that, I still feel that the stock Android experience, the huge display, and the powerful specifications make this device a great option even till this day. Now, moving on to my number 1 choice. Now remember, this is my personal choice of what I believe is the best phone out there. You might have a different opinion, but this is mine. So my number 1 choice, I had to go with the Samsung Galaxy S6. Now, although I'm not a big fan of Samsung devices, their latest flagship really impressed me. First of all, with the design, in which Samsung finally ditched the plastic and fake metal for more high-end materials such as glass and metal, in which now this device looks beautiful. This change was so needed because now this device looks great. With a metal frame sandwiched by 2 glass panels, the Galaxy S6 honestly looks beautiful. And I personally think it looks better than the iPhone, but many people will disagree. But besides all that, this device looks great. Along with looking great, this device also has some of the best specifications on the market, such as a 5.1-inch Quad HD display, Samsung's own in-house Exynos 7420 CPU. It also has 3 GB of RAM, and it also is powered by a 2,550 mAh battery. So this device is very powerful, and it also looks great. Now, this is all, you know, secondary things. But what I find most intriguing about the S6 that I really don't find in many other smartphones is 2 reasons. Number 1, this device has some of the best software experience you would ever find on any device so far on the market. Number 2, the camera is amazing. Now, I'm going to briefly explain what I mean. So first of all, the software. Samsung finally is listening to their customers and now toning down TouchWiz, in which now TouchWiz is a lot more faster, more fluid, but it's still retaining some of its great features that many people love, such as multi-window and pop-up view. And this is something that I've been wanting from Samsung because I like some of the features that they incorporate into their software. As I mentioned, multi-window. I'm a huge fan of doing 2 things at once. And all I really wanted Samsung to do was make the software faster. Make it so that, you know, people wouldn't want to change the software as soon as they get the device. So which Samsung finally accomplished this, and I feel that because of this balance between feature set and fluid software, Samsung has a big advantage over a lot of the competition out there. And I hope they can continue to build on this for the future and hopefully make TouchWiz even better while still packing a lot more features that people would enjoy. Second is the camera. As I mentioned, the G4 has a really great camera, but the S6 also has a good camera with a 60 megapixel shooter, same as last year, but they increased the aperture to an f1.9 aperture lens. So this device honestly pulls out some amazing photos. I've seen many test shots. I've actually took a few photos with this device. It's great. It's something that you won't find on a lot of smartphones. And I can honestly say this is the closest camera that I have seen to the iPhone's performance. And that's something that a lot of cameras have not been able to accomplish. So for the fact that Samsung to get to this level is just amazing. And I feel that this is an important feature of a smartphone which a lot of people would love to have. And Samsung has done it. So overall, I feel that the Galaxy S6 is the best smartphone available as of right now, July 2015. But that, my opinion, may change for later on in the year, because as we know, there are still more devices to come in the future. But this is the device for right now. I highly recommend to many people. And for those of you looking for a great, powerful smartphone that will last you the 2-year contract, the Galaxy S6 is an amazing option, and which is why it made my #1 on my top 5 list. So that is basically it. That was my top 5 list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below what device is your favorite. Which one do you feel is the best in the market? You know. Right now, and yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and as always,